Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strategy Game Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Shippey, and I am so excited and thankful to have a dear friend, Kim Gomez, with us today. Kim, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Lauren, thank you for having me. I am super excited about this. I told you this morning, I am so pumped about just having a conversation with you around story work and around everything that's happening with our businesses and our organizations. And thank you for having me on this amazing podcast, because I've seen you with your excellent strategies, with your the way that you help build businesses, but more importantly, the way that you help build people. So I'm really happy to be here.
I love that. Thank you. That's such a great compliment. That's ultimately always my goal. So is to fuel the people behind the businesses and organizations. And for those of you that don't know, Kim and I and a group of us co-lead a local organization here called Palm Beach Women's Network. And it's very dear to our hearts. And we are just focused on really bringing women of all walks and phases of life together around just a common purpose. And that is just to really fuel growth in women across Palm Beach County and beyond. We've had lots of virtual events, especially due to COVID. We've been offline, and we just brought back our first live event recently, and it was just so much fun. So I'm just so grateful for you, Kim, and the project that you've been working on today that I'm really excited to talk about has been really a group that has served PBWN well so far, and we hope to continue to do that. So I'd love to start by just having you share your story. I mean, a little bit just about your life and where you come from and what you've been working on over all the years. I know you're an entrepreneur at heart. And then really, I'd love to just get into, the latest project itself.
Sure, absolutely. Well, gosh, let's see. I'm originally from Kentucky, which not a lot of people know that. It's like a little random fact, but I'm from Kentucky. But I've been in Florida for most of my life, and I consider myself a native after 40-something years. I consider myself a native. I went to college in Boca at Florida Atlantic University, and I studied political science and ended up with my political science degree. But I have to say, I did not go into politics, and I did not go into law school. And I'm really happy about that. I mean, especially today with the way things are, I am super happy I'm not in politics today.
Yes.
But I was in Boca, and I met my husband, Robert, and we've been married for 31 years. And he's from Colombia, South America, and I'm from Kentucky. So we have this kind of wonderful Spanish, Southern, light brown family. And we have been in this area in Palm Beach County for all these years. We own our own company. We have a business that we design and build homes for clients as well as for ourselves. So I usually design, and Robert does the construction, and then we'll flip the homes. We're currently right now, actually tomorrow, moving into our 22nd home that we have built together.
Wow. Amazing.
And I know there's horror stories about construction, and it is hard, but we just love doing it. We love flipping the homes. We're literally moving right next door to where we've lived for 4 years. We bought that house. So that is our business. I love the creative end of it, and he loves like the practical. He's an engineer as well as a general contractor. And these years of owning our own business and raising our family in Jupiter, I've also been highly involved in a lot of community service. I have done a lot of work in the kids' schools where they've been, in the churches. And for about 8 years, I did large scale sporting events, mostly golf events, which were super fun fundraisers. Yes. So that's in a nutshell what I've been doing for 30 years.
So amazing. I love that, Kim. I love your family. I love that you guys are on your 22nd home, you said. That's so amazing. Congrats. And one thing I know about you, and as we talk about the latest project, this will be true, is that you're a visionary. You have this bird's eye view and a creative. And I love the combination of those things, and especially when we plan, certain events together, I always love your eye for catching visions and then creating them and making them come to life. So I've watched you as you've really taken on this new project, and I've watched it come to life. I've watched you catch the vision, download it, and then create it and translate it. And I think that's a really hard thing to do. Not many people, and this applies to businesses or movements as well, can see a vision and then start to translate it and boil it down to something, what it's actually going to be, and then really execute it and move it into that next phase. So it's like vision, translation, execution. And so with this project, I've watched you do that. And I think it's really amazing. So without further ado, can you tell us about the project, how it came to be, what it is, and just tell us all the things about it.
Wow. Well, one note on that, thank you for that, the visionary, and then I call myself like a visionary, and then I'm also boots on the ground. But I think that's something that we learn as entrepreneurs and as leaders, and just in life. You know, it takes a minute to learn that because a lot of people are bent one way or the other.
Yeah.
I really do have a feel for both, but for 10 years, you know this, I worked as executive director of Epic Beauty.
Yeah.
And the founder of Epic Beauty, Melissa Pierce, is a visionary, like all the way. He has these crazy ideas for ministry and for business. And we'd talk about that. And then I was able to buy into that, understand that, want that, and then actually go, I call it boots on the ground, and could make it happen.
Yeah.
Never alone. It's all about building a team. And we had some great teams. But with Foursquare Mentoring, which is our new organization, which I love working so closely with Palm Beach Women's Network. Foursquare Mentoring is all about connection. The first book that we wrote, which is what I wrote last year, is called Foursquare Mentoring: Spiritual Fruit. And it's about connecting women. It is a conversational framework around our mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being based on the fruit of the Spirit. So it's formatted or really clear. And that's one thing that I liked because it made it easier to communicate and people can grasp it. And how it came about is back in 2020, we would all probably agree that was a crazy year, but I think we could also agree that we learned a lot about ourselves. I know I did. I learned a lot about myself. Talked about flipping houses. My husband and I were just for fun. You know, the real estate market's super hot. And so we were like, let's just put the house up, just see what happens. We weren't really ready to sell it, but within a week, we had a buyer, full price offer. He wanted the house in less than a month. He wanted all our furniture, all our furnishings. We had a boat out back. He wanted the boat. I thought he was going to buy our dog. You know, it was like that kind of sale. So
amazing.
So we had to quickly, we didn't have to pack much, but we had to find a place to live and, you know, be out of our house in less than a month. So we moved into a small rental. And when I moved in here to this place, I had a lot of space because I didn't have the house. I didn't have everything. I just basically we had our clothes and we moved in here. So it created some space for myself, for my mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual space. And I needed that. And so out of that space, Foursquare Mentoring was born. And it was born around connection. And it was born around an idea that when we walk alongside each other as we go through life, it's a better walk. It's more interesting. If you stumble, there's somebody right there to help you. If they stumble, you can help them. And it's just more fun. And listen, we can learn from each other. We can grow from each other. So as I was kind of coming back around to myself, I said I came back around to myself because for 30 years, I'd been doing a lot of like our business, our kids, their school, their college, and my community, my ministry. And when I kind of stepped away from all that in 23, we were all ripped away from that stuff in 2020. And I had this space, I started really revisiting my passions and my strengths and those moments in life that have really like lit me up, that made me feel like I'm alive and I want to do this thing, whatever it is. And for me, it's connection. And after working with Epic Beauty for 10 years, I mean, I connected with women. We worked with women in the adult entertainment industry. We worked with strippers, and we worked with prostitutes, and we worked with homeless, and we worked with addiction. And we also worked in churches and with pastors, and just the whole spectrum. And I learned something from every single woman I met, and they all had an impact on me, and I appreciate that impact. And I wanted to keep that going. So Foursquare mentoring came from this idea of, listen, if we can get eye to eye, and if we can get heart to heart, and if we can have some conversations, and if we can be connected, then we're going to walk alongside each other. And you know, the younger generation right now isn't really raised on intimate connections or one-on-one relationships. There's a lot of, the social media and the Zoom and the groups and
all the noise. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I believe in that. And that's what we tried to get started. This book is a framework, and around this framework, we come together. And even if we come together on Zoom, it's a deep dive into ourselves, and we can start to understand ourselves better so that we can be in a position of strength, and we can be in a position and have space so that our dreams and our passions can move forward, and we can walk in our purpose.
I love that, Kim, all of that. And I think, about the work that you've done with Epic and then Foursquare and then, Palm Beach Women's Network and just in the community at large. I think what's so cool, something I always get excited about is just really connecting and honoring, valuing, and taking away something from every single person that you come in contact with, and every woman that you are able to come in contact with and interact with through Epic, right? Has had an impact on you. And I love that so much. And I see now where it's like all of this and coming out of 2020 has shaped this amazing framework and this opportunity for people to genuinely connect. And this is like almost their guide of like, hey, how do you get refresh for yourself? That's actually our season theme, like this season, but how do you get refresh for yourself? But then also, how do you get that with others, among others in community, gathering? So I know that you've just recently launched the first official group that has come together. I know there are some that are actually gathering, I think, in other parts of the country doing this, which is really cool because everybody's, of course, invited to get it and go through the book. But can you tell us what you're seeing right now, just with the group that you're doing? What are some light bulb moments that you've seen of growth, or just what are you seeing that people so desperately need right now? Anything you can speak to there?
So much, Lauren. I could talk for hours about what's happening in this group. We are on week 6 out of 9. There's a group of 7 of us. It's our pilot group. Really, it's our test group, and it's really kind of strange for me because I wrote the questions.
Yeah.
This book is basically like a journal with prompts and questions, so you dig deep in yourself. So I wrote them, but now I'm answering them and then sharing them in a group, and I'm like, wow, that's good. I never thought about that. How did I not know the answer when I wrote it? But what we're finding is that it's for every woman, and it's an introspective, gentle, deep dive into ourselves.
Important words.
It helps us clarify some things. Like there's everything in our past and it's happened in all our years, but this helps clarify it and simplify it. We're not diving into every single thing deeply, but we're kind of looking, and then you come away with nuggets, more like gems actually, about your future and about your past and about how you're going to use them in your future. So this group of 7, it's so amazing. We've got women from different generations and different ages, but I'm finding these amazing women. Some of them have a lot of experience in journaling and Bible study or something, and some have very little. And it doesn't matter, because it's not about that. It's about this gentle introspective deep dive. And so I'm finding that everybody gets a little something different out of it. We're willing to share, maybe we share like 75% of it. There's no rules here, and there's not like, you have to share. It's like you do this, you're journaling during the week, and then we come together on Tuesday mornings and we share if we want to. Yeah. But we always have a nice time together. And I'm finding and I'm praying that this group of 7 is our core team of leadership as we go forward, really. And they are super amazing, and everybody digs a little deeper, and in different ways, because we're all coming from different places and we have different experiences. So everybody digs a little deeper. Some people go, back to childhood. Some are applying it to their parenting skills today. So that's kind of where we are. And I've always prayed for this Foursquare, for it to be organic and exponential growth. Organic in that it happens by the strength and power of the project through the Holy Spirit, that it happens that way, and that I don't need to know about all of it. I am not the one driver. I was the driver in creating the framework, and then now I pray that it just goes all over. I got word that we have a group in Wichita, Kansas starting, awesome, and Montpelier, Vermont. And so I'm so excited about that. So it's going organic, and it's hopefully going to go exponential, because it is a powerful tool to really, get to know ourselves a little better and be more comfortable with ourselves. One thing about Foursquare that's important is, I mentioned a few times, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Yeah. When we understand ourselves, those things are all intimately connected and powerful together, but they're also can be looked at individually. So if we have something that's that's bothering us, or we're feeling like blah, we can't quite put our finger on it. If we examine ourselves mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, a lot of times we can put our finger on it, and we can say, you know what? I did this experiment with a friend, and she was feeling low. This was in the midst of writing it. And I kind of used her as a test, and we did this, and we examined, and she had COVID 3 months prior, but had never fully recovered. But she was recovered enough, and she was busy, that she was I'm okay. But that was really nagging. And now we're finding that a lot of people have that, but she kind of was able to put her finger on it. She went back to the doctor, did a couple things, she said, but it was okay, I'm not feeling blah because I'm emotionally upset, or because I have a spiritual, it was this physical thing that was affecting her in every other area. And she was able to identify it that way.
So good. It's like taking an account or taking an inventory. So it sounds like this framework really helps women get an account or inventory of what they're feeling and which one is elevated at the moment. So we have these 4 areas, and one could be elevated at a moment, a couple could be elevated at one time, and it just shines light on that, and then allows us to work toward, okay, what do I need to do? Is there an action step? Is there something that I can do to get more free, or to get the healing?
That's great, Lauren. And you mentioned at the moment, because we go through life and situations change, but that's how Foursquare, a square, that if a square is balanced, then it's sturdy, and if it's off balance, it's not. It can tip either way. So it's this Foursquare, and I don't mean we're operating in every area at 25%. I mean we're operating in every area at 100%. At full health, and things are going to get off course, but we're able to identify it and address it, and get back in balance.
And alignment comes to mind. This helps create alignment with ourselves, and then we can overflow and pour onto other people, when we're in full alignment. So that's really awesome. Any your vision for this in the future? Where do you see this, or how do you see this growing? You said organically, which I love, organic growth, but also like, what does this look like to scale it? I mean, this applies to businesses and nonprofits and movements, right? What does that look like?
Yes.
As this grows. How do you see that happening?
Well, I really, you can't know the end until so we're just kind of working through the beginning and dreaming and taking the steps right now. So that's why we just finished our website. And when the page is like about Foursquare, well, we're going to tell you what we're about right now. And we're about a year old.
That's right.
But we don't really know exactly, but this is our vision for it, and we're just going to believe in that organic and exponential growth. But for the near future, I'm super excited about this group. I loved our Palm Beach Women's Network event last week. It was so powerful with the different speakers, and I was so happy to be able to be a part of that. We are looking forward to, in January, starting more groups. They're going to be out. They're here in Jupiter. We'll do Zoom if there's people that really want to do Zoom. We'll make that happen. But we're hoping to meet in person as well at a farm, the Dirt Academy farm here in Jupiter. And we have space. I mean, we have 10 acres. So bring it. Come on. 5 acres is cows, so we probably won't want to meet over there, but we'll meet another 5 acres.
Why not? That could be fun. Switch things up.
Wear your boots. Yeah, wear your boots. But I know cows need love too. But we are going to be offering groups, and these are so the Foursquare framework groups are a part of it. And this book, which is called Foursquare Spiritual Fruit, that's a part of the framework. So we're going to be going through the framework of spiritual fruit again in January. And we're going to, like I said, we're doing it out there. So I don't know if 5 or 50 women will come, but either way, it's good. And we've got that going in partnership with, of course, Palm Beach Women's Network. And then also something that's really important that I've discovered in this process is it's critical that we all have a manifesto. We can have a personal manifesto and a professional manifesto, or your one can stand for both. But a manifesto is a statement of your core values and beliefs and how you want to live your life. And it's going to be a reminder as we go down the road and we get a little bit off course and we're feeling like, wow, either angry or mad or sad or whatever, we can go back to our manifesto and we can remind ourselves who we are. And I have found this to be so powerful. I've got, of course, the book right here, but the back cover of the book is the Foursquare Manifesto. It's a critical part of this organization. And it's for myself and it's for everybody that wants to be a part of it, that manifesto is. So in January, we're going to do a manifesto writing workshop, probably at Venture X in Palm Beach Gardens. Okay. Looking forward to that. Tons of whiteboards there, so you're going to love it.
You know I love whiteboards.
And so we'll have the groups manifesto writing workshop, and then I am planning in the spring to do a resilience training retreat, a 1-day retreat. A 2-day retreat, but that entails a lot of 2 days, an overnighter, but at least a 1-day retreat for resilience training, because also in all this, I have been researching and discovered how important resiliency is. And resiliency basically equals mental toughness.
Yeah.
We have to be mentally tough because things come at us. Yeah. Our past, our present, and our future, and we need to be ready. We need to position ourselves well in a healthy position, and we need to be ready for what comes at us. So this resilience training, I'm not going to teach it. I'm hiring, there's a trained mental health counselor in town that's amazing. He's a dude. He's like tough guy, like tattoos, like rough guy, but he's got 4 little girls and he's teaching them resilience training. Yes. And I love it. And he's going to teach us resilience training, and he'll give us help in how to develop, that. And it doesn't come overnight. This is not something like a manifesto we can basically write in a couple hours. Resilience training is a process, and it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's so worth it. And I'm finding that the connection between mental and emotional
Mm.
is fascinating.
Yes, it is.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Like you kind of put physical one and spiritual one, but this mental and emotional connection and how it affects our lives, attitudes, being is fascinating. So the more mentally, tough and resilient we are, the more it helps our emotional side, and it helps us not to let our emotions manage us. It
Yeah.
helps us to manage our emotions.
Really good. Oh, that's great, Kim. I love that. So exciting, all that has come from that. And it's neat because I think as an entrepreneur or a creator listening, you can see the trajectory of catching a vision, right? Or downloading a vision and then starting to create it and implementing it and then seeing the other shoots that come off of it, right? Like the offshoots or the fruit really around the initial creation. And so that's really what I think healthy organizations practice is that they come up with these offshoots that make sense because they're seeing this need right from the initial creation, and then all of that is able to operate together. So I see that beginning to happen here, and it's really neat to see.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say for like your entrepreneurs, and you're so good, like I said, at building people, like and I know you already know this, but
Yeah.
like if you're passionate about something and you're developing something and this is a vision and you think you're just going to do the one thing with it, you're wrong. So be prepared because there's all that fruit and all the offshoots that are going to come. So, which is good. It's awesome. So yeah.
It's good. It's so good. And it's a good reminder not to pigeonhole yourself and not to get too fixated or grasping for control of one thing, but being open to just looking at the landscape and looking at what's going on. And it doesn't mean, wind off in every different direction, allowing distraction to creep in. But there's a very fine line, I think, between, grabbing for control or being too fixated on one thing or going off on every tangent and getting distracted. So the balance is the key, I believe, and something I've seen over the years. So when we're in alignment, and this is Foursquare framework, right? If you're aligned, then you're going to be positioned. This is how this relates to leadership and creation. Then you're going to be positioned for really success in whatever that looks like. So you're going to be able to recognize if it's a distraction or if you're getting too pigeonholed, and you're going to be able to stay right where you need to stay. So I think that's a really cool tie-in there to what you're doing and the importance of balance. Kim, as we wrap up here, any tangible takeaways that you would just have or that you would speak for creators or founders or entrepreneurs that they can start just practicing, maybe to take an inventory? Any advice?
Wow, there's so much there. I was able to contribute to the Storywork blog, and I wrote just kind of 10 points on navigating change. I think that blog's going to be posted on the 8th of November.
Yes.
So in there, I'd love to talk about those, but I know we don't have time. But that's a lot of like the takeaways, not being specific to this Foursquare conversation, but I guess I would say, what we talked about is position yourself well, be ready.
Mm-hmm.
The world's changing.
Yeah.
We need to be on our toes. We're going to need to be strong. And so be ready. Go ahead, ready yourself. It's already inside of you, inside of us. So go ahead and position yourself. Be ready. Give yourself some space. Write some things down. Talk to somebody you trust about it, pray about it, and see what is for you, in this next season. I wanted to you're so intentional on leadership. And for a few years, I worked in Seattle just with a organization called Leading Second. I learned so much from that organization because remember, for the leaders out there, we're all leading somebody. there are leaders in the first chair when you talk about maybe the founders or the president of the company or the pastor of the church or your boss or whatever it is. There's leaders in there. There's leaders in the first chair, but there's also leaders in the second chair. And there's also leaders in the third chair. There's leaders in every organization throughout. So if you find yourself leading from a chair other than the first chair, hey, we can't always all be in the first chair. It's not going to happen, you know, there. So we find ourselves leading from different positions. And that's where I would say, like, lead well, learn what you can, watch the visionaries, watch the people that are boots on the ground, learn everything you can, because you will have an opportunity to lead from different positions. So I'm just excited about that. And that's what happened, like with me too, with Epic Beauty is like, and believe me, I didn't do it for the money. There's no money in ministry. You know, I didn't do it for the glamour because we were down in the hood in West Palm Beach most of the time. So but I learned so much, and it made this, what we're doing now, like possible. Another thing I would say is like, build a team, even if it's only a team of one, even if it's your best friend and you go, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I'm dreaming about this. What do you think? Will you be on my team?
Yeah.
Then you're not doing it alone, because doing it alone is hard, right? Gosh, there are times we have to go off by ourselves for sure and have that space, but man, to have somebody walking alongside of you. And then I guess my last thing is I would say is like, find a mentor or be a mentor, because it positions you in a place of strength because you're walking alongside someone, they're walking alongside you. If you think like, wow, I'm not qualified to be a mentor, think again, because we all come as students, we all come as teachers. It sounds like a thing for experts, but it's not, unless you're mentoring a professional, like I'm mentoring, you know, this, you know, CPA or whatever. No, this is more like the personal mentoring. So I would say find a mentor or be a mentor, or just, you know, and I say that, you know, it can be just, you know, your friend that you're walking with. But I think that would be it. And then these are just all powerful moves, and, you know, and powerful moves don't have to look like, wait, I'm out there. And this is one of the things from the blog. I said, nobody wants to be a weightlifter with, or what is it? Nobody wants to be a bodybuilder with skinny legs. Okay. It's because you need a strong foundation. And I think that's what you do so well, Lauren, is you really help people like build their foundation so they can go, you know, be the bodybuilders of their dreams.
Likewise, Kim, thank you so much for being here. Just love talking to you as always, and just so excited to see where this all goes. And I think there was so much wisdom and knowledge in every different area, just both personally and professionally, because they're all connected. And that's what we talk a lot about at Storybrooke. So thank you so much for being here. And we will put the Foursquare link to the website in the show notes, as well as a link to be able to buy the book if you would like to get it and work through the Foursquare framework, as well as a link to the blog post. So lots of action items for everyone listening.
Yes. Thank you, Lauren.